think there's a lot of things that hip hop has shown, shared, exemplified that are things that we need to look at changing in our society.
We are still in celebration mode of Black Music Month. Columbus, Ohio-based DJ Krate Digga is back with part 2, and we have included a hip-hop roundtable discussing more beats, more rhythms, and more rhymes. I'm Val the Voice Johnson, and this is Interludes.
Interludes, a Peer Lighthouse production. This episode is brought to you by...
Need help with wills, trust, or protecting your LLC? Join Legal Shield today. Text the word legal to 347-652-0243 for more information.
And now, all the way from the south side of Chicago, give it up for your host, Val the Voice Johnson.
They say you locate your creative tribe when it comes to business, entrepreneurship, and innovative ventures. If you're into filmmaking, vibe and find a good tribe of filmmakers. If you're into DJing, find and collaborate with other DJs. As Interludes continues to celebrate 50 years in hip-hop and also Black Music Month, it was a pleasure to continue the conversation after our main interview with DJ Krate Digga. We talked about fandom and how working with some of our favorite artists in the music industry or meeting them for the first time in person keeps us humble, especially DJ Krate Digga, and how it has become the bedrock of his long, fruitful career as a DJ.
Like, I have to remind myself, having been in this industry for like 26 years, like my first major concert was the Hot Boys. So it was like being, I think I was 18.
The
19,
Hot
20
Mix?
The Hot Boys from like
Hot Boys.
Manny Fresh, Lil Wayne,
Those
like
guys.
BG.
Yeah.
So like so being 20, doing my first major concert in an arena and they're performing, like that's, and like I understand that they're famous, but it's kind of like we're not like coworkers per se, but like we're work associates. And I say it on my documentary, it's like when people come to shows, they don't look on the stage and be like, I wonder how long he's been DJing. Or I wonder, like, they see you on the stage, they expect shit to be dope. And my
if it ain't
like,
dope. Yeah, if it ain't dope.
And if we all on the same stage, like, I'm not here because I'm cute or because I bought my way. Like, I'm here because I've done whatever I was supposed to do for people to believe that I bring whatever talent and value to the stage. So my expectation is if we all on the same stage, there's a level of, I don't want to call it parody per se, but like we all on a certain level if we all on the same stage performing. So I say that to say over all of the years and all these different folks I've met who some of them I've developed personal friendships with, like I understand that as a very distinct and separate and even special time sometimes perspective and experience to have, because a lot of folks still look at a lot of these artists like as superstars, and even though they know they're people, it's still like, yeah, like just the fandom and the starstruck nature and all that. So, you know, I try to allow a certain level of kind of humanity to come through, to know that like I can list off all of these people that I've worked with or all these things that I've done, but I still put my pants on one leg at a time. I still got to pay bills. I still got to shave, and like, you know, I have a nice house, but like I don't like float on some cloud. My house got doors and steps, and I got, you know, the same way so-and-so got to get on Zoom for their job. I'm on Zoom doing this interview, and I got a kid talking in the background too. So it's like we all people, we just do different things. Yeah, so I just try to, you know, bring that level of humanity to certain things within, you know, along with the context of I've had amazing amazing experiences. I tell people all the time, I'm a everyday guy that lives a not so everyday life, and you know I'm cool with it. I got
and the documentary is on your website, or where is it?
It's got its own tab. It's called A Day in the Life, but it's there on the website, and it's only like 35 minutes as well. So it just basically was a day in the life. I just had a buddy of mine follow me. I had a gig here in Columbus. I traveled to Akron. I had 2 separate gigs in Akron, and it just got all these different points of both my history and how I came to be a DJ and what it's like to be part of a show on, from the backside. It's like I don't really go to shows and get to watch them the same way other people do. When I get to watch a show, I'm side stage or backstage preparing to do my next part. So as much as I'm enjoying the experience, I'm still at work and preparing for my next kind of phase and shift of work, so to speak. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
'Cause that. So where was I? Yeah. So I was, this was an event that D-Nice was DJing, but they put him on the stage and he was away from the main audience. So I came up and we had met the year before. And so I was talking with him, and then I get ready to leave. He was like, wait. I was like, what? He's like, don't leave me up here by myself.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be up here. I'm so far away from the people. And I said, oh no.
Everybody's super small. Like when you were a little kid, you used to like crush head. Like everybody's super small.
I know. So he was like, wait. I was like, what? He's like, wait, come here. I was like, don't leave me up here by myself.
Bring a seat. Bring a chair.
So I called all my coworkers. I was like, D-Nice would like to, speak with you. We have to thank him because I was very happy to say I was responsible for making sure you got paid because I worked in the legal department. So I was very happy to make sure you got paid. Now let me bring some other friends up here so keep you company. So I just had a lot of people keep coming back through.
Yeah, like there's some days where it's like you said, especially if you're doing these big arenas with tens of thousands of people, and you just look out and there's people all over, and it's like you on stage and you maybe, I don't want to say backstage, but at the rear of the stage or and the isolation is theoretically for the production value to show how you are the feature and important and special. But like part of DJing is about that community, that engagement, that interaction. And that's very hard to have when people are half a mile away.
I know. And I was like, oh no. And what do you think about Idris Elba being a DJ? Because I think that's hilarious. He's known for acting, but he loves DJing. And there was a Netflix show that came on called Turn Up Charlie. I wish they had done another season of that, but I was just like blown away. Like, you are into DJing like that?
So what's funny that you say that is I've heard him DJ a couple of times. I've never seen him live, but I've heard him a couple of times. Mm-hmm. He's good. So it's not like, it's not like Paris Hilton or some of these other folks who DJ. But it's funny that you say that because like he is an actor that when people find out he's a DJ, they're like, what, huh? For me, it's inverse when I have conversations with folks, especially younger folks, and they see DJ Jazzy Jeff for the first time. To them, he's an actor. Like they know him as the kid from Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince, right?
And not realizing like, yo, not only has he been a DJ for like 20, give or take 20 years before 15,
30,
20, whatever. Yeah.
30.
Well, at least before Fresh Prince came out, he was a DJ for at least 15, 20 years. Like the first ever Grammy in the hip hop category, like was him and Will Smith. So what you say about seeing Idris Elba as a DJ and it kind of flips your paradigm, like people seeing Jazzy Jeff DJ and be like, that's the actor. Like, no, like he's a DJ who acted
for
first.
Real, right?
Yeah,
then
so
he's an actor.
so it's funny, and once again, people come to places how they come to those places, but it's interesting how those things are framed. It's like if this is the perspective that I know you from or see you from, and I see you in other spaces, it's kind of like when you're a kid and you see your teacher at the grocery store. You're
like, oh my gosh, she shops for real?
Yeah, a real person. Like they let you outside the school, but it's like so it's like it's just one again. It's funny and it's very human and everyday, but like and I think you can understand the perspective of like we've been on a certain side of the curtain for so long, our perspective of it is very different than like the lay person or other folks. So it's always interesting like to hear those experiences and hear people share those perspectives. And I think I said this the other day, but like hearing how people come to certain spaces that I've been at, or as I come to certain spaces that other people have been at, I'm like, yo, you were telling me about blah, blah, blah. I had the aha moment. And they're like, well, welcome to 1995. I'm like, all right, thanks. I told you I was coming. I didn't say when I was going to get here, but I told you I was on the way. But, just the human nature of a lot of what we do I try to keep that engaged because so much of what we do, like you say, is AI or technology or just the ones and zeros of how we engage each other, whether it's real or not. Like just that human interaction gets lost a lot of times, whether it's because I'm trying to put a certain face for it for social media or because I've talked to these people for 2 years and never met them. I only see their faces as an icon or emoji and not as a person, even in video. So, just once again reminding folks like we're human beings and we engage in different ways as technology and different things allow us, but that doesn't inherently change the fact that humans are made to be interactive people, and how we interact just is based on how we choose to do those things. But like once again, it's like we're just all a whole lot of people doing our thing, and how it overlaps and intersects is how it overlaps and intersects.
I have been watching the writer's strike that started last month. And one of the conversations that's been floating around is that AI might go ahead and replace or come in to write stories or write scripts for television, TV series, streaming series, as well as films. And I'm going, that sounds crazy. And then I've also heard that AI is definitely being used to curate music. Definitely with Spotify, Apple Music, I think Amazon Music, and a few other places where the AI or the algorithm, listens to what you've picked and said, okay, well, we're going to pick all of these songs based on the one song from, I don't know, Kurt Franklin or Yolanda Adams or, De La Soul or Black Sheep.
Or whatever is helping pay those ad revenues that they want to stick to you to hope you like. Yeah.
Yeah. And here's the thing. What's your thought process on, because AI has been used in definitely music and curating at, but do you feel like it would put someone like a Krate Digga out of business, the AI person or the AI situation?
So theoretically, no, because I think when it's all said and done, there's ideally, there's a human and a person-to-person touch that I don't know that can be replicated.
Right.
But at the same time, there's software that allows you to plug in a playlist and it'll mix and blend. So if you're just talking about just the presentation of the music, computers have been doing that for many years.
Right.
Now, does that make for a DJ? My opinion, no. But at the same time, I have to be open to the fact that regardless of how I feel about it and what my opinions are about it, the definition of what a DJ or DJing is changing. Sometimes it depends on who you ask and what their experience is. Sometimes it depends on what level of corporate engagement you're asking. So are you asking these companies that make these different pieces of hardware that allow you to play music, or allow you to press this button because you don't have the skill set to do this scratch, but you want to put that into your performance? So just press this button and we'll do it for you. Or if you're asking somebody who wants to hire a DJ, but they only have X amount of dollars. So, okay, I can't hire a DJ, but I need somebody to play music. So I'm just going to hire somebody. So I say all that with no judgment, but just understanding that all the people come into the conversation around DJing and what a DJ is from different kind of parts of the galaxy. And we all have our different perspectives and all those things. So I think once again, depending on what you see as a DJ and what a DJ does and how they do it, I think how that is important to you and kind of how that manifests to you is the determination of if AI can recreate that. So once again, if it's solely about music delivery, AI and hard software has been doing it for years. If it's about saying that I'm looking out across the space, and like we mentioned earlier in the conversation, and I'm seeing this vibe is or isn't taken off, or I'm seeing this vibe is or isn't taken off, or I'm seeing these folks who come in, and even if I don't know about them specifically, I can tell by their attire they're from this space in the world. So I'm going to play music that fits that interacts with that space in the world. Or I don't know them personally, but I can see their colors and I recognize those Greek letters. So I know that these songs are the songs that their Greek organization is going to respond to. Or even knowing that there's some venues to where there could be nobody on the dance floor, but I can look out and see everybody having a great time at their seats, at the bar or at their tables or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So even though the dance floor may be empty, I can still gauge that people are enjoying themselves. So once again, I think at some point, if we can teach AI to drive cars and we can send monkeys to space and all the things that we do as humans with technology, I'm sure that we can figure out how to read rooms like that. But I think there's a human element that will never be recreated by computers because there's quite simply they're not humans. And I think there's something very magical, special, and um, kind of unreplaceable about humans in that way.
We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Need help with wills, trust, or protecting your LLC? Join Legal Shield today. For more information regarding legal protection or to join our worldwide sales team, text the word LEGAL to 347-652-0243. And now, back to our show. For almost 2 years, I have been active on the audio streaming platform called Clubhouse. I created the Interludes platform there, and also I've been a part of the content creators of Color Collective, or C4. It's been a blessing to receive such wonderful industry tips in regards to podcasting. I invited a few of my fellow podcasters and fellow artists to join me on the Clubhouse virtual stage to discuss hip-hop and the direction we see the genre going into beyond these 50 years. Along with DJ Krate Digga, we spoke with fellow DJ and podcaster Al Pete, filmmaker King B, Mindset Moments podcaster and inspirational DJ Lakeisha Mosley, and one of my close friends, supporter, and creator of Absolutely Focused Radio, Mr. Daniel Nelson. I think we recorded this probably a week or two ago, and I knew I wanted to do something on Black Music Month and then also 50 years of hip hop. Did anyone catch the ABC special that aired yesterday celebrating hip hop 50 at 50? Did anyone see that? It came on at like about 10 o'clock last night on ABC. Did anybody see that?
No, I wasn't able to catch it. Oh man. Okay.
Yeah. So it's streaming right now on Hulu, because what they'll do is they'll air it on ABC, and then they've partnered with Hulu, so anything that's on ABC will end up getting streamed there. But I love that they had Angie Martinez kind of curating the space, and they covered one of the topics that has been a topic in recent years because of the pandemic and beyond, mental health. We've gone through a lot with the things that happened, I want to call it the protests in 2020, and then, of course, the unprecedented people who passed away during COVID. But I know hip-hop culture, I have to say I was a little late on this, and Krate, you'll back me up on this. The song that got me through the protests, and ever so often I'd go out there, masked up and everything, and, I was all upset about, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and the song that I ended up leaning on real hard was All Right from... Why is his name? Why is that name? His name leaving me.
Kendrick Lamar. Keep going.
Thank you, Kendrick Lamar. Thank you. And so I found myself listening to that often, and I was thinking, why? And the song came out maybe about 5 or 6 years earlier, and I'm thinking, why am I just getting up on this? Like, I've heard earlier stuff from Kendrick, but that particular song got me through, and I felt it was good to hear that when hip-hop started in 73, that it was kind of the voice of what was happening, the movement, but kind of, I feel like it was party, it was dancing and things, and then it ended up being, I want to say, I feel like they kept focusing on Grandmaster Flash, the Message song. They focused on that song often. But Krate, when you think about culture in regards to giving a voice to the voiceless, has hip-hop represented us well in that regard?
My opinion, generally speaking, is hip-hop has represented very well. And I guess a caveat to that is it's not always positive. I think there's a lot of things that hip hop has shown, shared, exemplified that are things that we need to look at changing in our society. You know, we can speak about, even though it's not just held to, but, you know, once again, I guess it's more so iconic. You know, there was a lot of noise made about how women were talked about and treated inside of hip hop, you know, from all throughout times, but specifically late 80s, early 90s. So like that's something that needs to be addressed because historically speaking, there's so many women in hip hop who have been overlooked as pioneers and part of helping this culture continue on. But because of the male driven and male dominant society that we live in, a lot of them are forgotten about and or underrepresented. And then along with that, you know, you mentioned Andrew Martinez and mental health. You know, on the flip side of that kind of mirror is hip hop has allowed us to see things and address things that may have been conversations in smaller pockets. It allows the conversation to kind of be elevated to where we're all seeing, oh, this is a conversation that's happening here, here, and here. We're all having the same conversation, but we're having it at different times, different spaces. Now we can kind of have this conversation all together and see what the community or the communal larger aspect of the conversation can yield for us. But I don't think there's ever been a time that I felt ashamed per se of hip hop being a representation of me culturally. You know, once again, there's times where it's less positive than other times, but I think that just speaks to humanity. You know, other than Val and maybe Al, Pete, I think we all have our flaws from time to time. So, you know, there's no all positive to any of us. So I think, you know, to be someone who has grown up with, once again, as I said, hip hop being like my cultural language, I'm more than okay with that mantle.
Yeah. And it's important, I think, for us to acknowledge if and when we in hip hop, if it's representing us well. And I'm a little bit older than hip hop. Hip hop came out and they said 73, and I know one of the biggest songs was a Sugar Hill Gang. And I think what ended up happening, I saw an interview with Nile Rodgers, who's one of the members of Lashik. And so everyone knows that their song Good Times, the instrumental break is kind of the bed of the Rapper's Delight song. And so what was happening is that two genres of music were kind of coming together and then kind of moving away. Like disco got dissed, and then hip hop kind of stood on its I want to say foundation. Say, no, we're actually going to do something with this. Women being represented well in hip hop, I always felt, and they mentioned this last night when I watched the doc, is how sometimes women had to have a b-boy persona so they could be accepted in this very male-dominated genre of music. I feel like Roxanne Shante, I feel like she's someone that comes to mind when I think about a woman being a pioneer. She was mentioned. What was good to see was MC Lyte, who, I don't know if you all know, anytime there's an award show or something dealing in music, she's the voiceover or kind of the MC. And I'm talking on like the Emmys, Oscar platforms. Like it's a thing. Her and one of my favorites, D Nice, I would love to have him on the platform. And I've reached out to his people, and they're saying, you know what, he's slowing down this summer. He would love to come to your platform. So when that happens, that's coming. Al, thank you so much for being here. I know you're also a DJ and a podcaster as well. I met both Krate and Al in, I'm going to need help with this, Krate. It's the C4, which is called the
Content Creators of Color Collective.
Thank you. Because I do not want to butcher it. But Al, what did you think of the interview? What did you think?
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. What's happening? What's happening? I thought it was dope. Man. I mean, it's always good to hear musicians talk. You know, it's to me it's nerd talk. So I love it, and I absolutely love it when nerds are talking about hip hop, and the many conversations I've had with Krate, it's always been reassuring because I feel like I am that only person that thinks and feels and interacts with hip hop like that from a consumer standpoint as well as a DJ standpoint. So it's always good to hear Krate had that wisdom, man. And I honor his wisdom within it, his works and all that stuff. I honor you as well for taking the time to dive into this topic. So overall, I definitely love the conversation. It'll definitely get a playback. I hope everybody get to hear it.
Yeah. And with Krate, I noticed I went to his YouTube and then I went to a few things. And if you guys could give Krate a follow on YouTube. I know I have your website, and he mentioned it several times in the podcast, but go ahead and subscribe and give him a follow. He has some very good content. I love seeing kind of the behind the scenes, his setup, and when he breaks out the records and he's getting ready to get going, and then he gets going with the music, and you're like, oh, okay, I feel like I'm like a fly on the wall watching someone DJ, and it's like, okay, this is fascinating. And I've always had a DJ inside of me. I've been more on the MC side of DJing than anything else, but I think this is a tribe here. Lakeisha Mosley, who is one of my co-mods here, she has a gospel show, and she's on Inspire Radio, and that's with 3, not an E. And she does the gospel hour with the Lakeisha Mosley show that's on Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern. And what she does is curate a space where she talks mental health and then also definitely plays gospel music, and sometimes independent artists who are new to the platform and new to gospel music or inspirational music, and she's there doing that, and she streams here on Clubhouse, but then it's also on Inspire with an E radio.com. Hopefully I said that right. Is that correct, Lakeisha?
Yes, you did. You were also okay. So it's Inspire Radio with the 3, not an E, and it's intentional just to make a little difference in it, but you got it. You got it, sis. I really appreciate the shout out. I really appreciate everybody here.
Of course. So we are men and women who love this space of curating safe spaces where you bring in DJs, you bring in folks, and you talk about the music and you share. Guys, give me if you could think of a favorite song. It's hard to narrow it down to one, but if you could think of that favorite hip hop song that no matter where you are on the radio, if you're at a party, if you're at somebody's house chilling, doing a cookout, when you hear that one song, it brings out a mood. I'm not going to say it's my favorite, but it brings out a mood. I love DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince Summertime because of the mood of it. Now, the bass of that song is Kool and the Gang. I love that. But and I think it's Summer Madness. So that is one of my favorite songs that's sampled, but then I know I get into a vibe of I can't wait for the summertime, and you kind of hear them talking and clapping, summertime, and they're clapping, I just sit back and unwind, and you get all into it. I'm like, yeah, I can't wait for the summertime. That's one of my favorites. Anyone that has a hip hop, it has to be a hip hop track. You could do gospel, but we're talking hip-hop now. What's that one track that puts you in the mood? I'm going to open the floor. Oh, what you got, Krate?
I'll just say Pete Rock and CL Smooth's They Reminisce Over You will always kind of just remind me of the first time I heard that song. And I think the first time I heard that song was the first time that hip-hop moved me to tears. Just thinking about the song, thinking about, in the early 90s, it came out in 92. So, just all the things that were going on in my local community as well as nationwide, and, young people dying from drugs and gangs and all those things, and then how well that story was told. So it was almost like we all knew T-Roy, who the song is in part written about, Like it's like we all knew this guy, and we were all kind of mourning together, along with our own personal experiences. So I think "They Reminisce Over You" will always be one of those songs that kind of just takes me to a space.
Yeah, that's a great choice. I saw Queen Lakeisha, you on mic. What song comes to mind for you?
Oh yeah, it was a few. So I'm like, the top one, of course, is Queen Latifah. UNITY. I said, I remember that song. I was like, you would call me a what? I said, yes, right, Queen. That's what's up, women power. So every time I hear that song, I literally get in the vibes.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Al, I know you got a few. What's one that stands out to you?
I was sitting here trying to think. The ones that come to mind is Nas, "The World Is Yours." Common, "I Used to Love Her."
Ooh.
Like Souls of Mischief, 9-3 to Infinity, it gets me in that mode too. It sits me in that pocket for sure. Those three songs, off the top of my head, those three songs are like, yeah, we in hip hop mode.
Hip hop mode. I oh my gosh, I love it because and gosh, I think every song we've mentioned comes from my favorite era of hip hop. My favorite era of hip hop was between, I want to say 88, 89 and like 93, 94. I felt like the best tracks of hip hop tracks came during those, I want to say 5 or 6 years. Then after like 95, 90, and that's after I stopped DJing. I picked up a real job and started teaching high school. And the high schoolers were trying to train me on that as well. Daniel, I see that you're here. What song, a hip hop song, stands out for you that brings up a certain mood for you? Which one is that?
It was P. Rock School, "Reminisce." That once you listen to that song, you could just picture the story. You don't even aside from seeing the video, but just listening to the rhyme and just picturing the video is, oh my God. And then my other hip hop song is "Uptown Anthem" from Naughty by Nature.
Oh wow, that's a great one. I love that one. Oh
as soon as that beat drops, you get goosebumps. I know it's a little, we're talking about hip hop, but yeah.
Oh my. Yeah. And Daniel, let me make sure that I speak about what he does as well. Daniel has a platform called Absolutely Focused Radio, and that is on live365.com. And if you are feeling a little blue, you can tune in and get affirmations, motivational speeches from some of our top folks, Reverend Miles Monroe, the late Miles Monroe, Tony Robbins. It's who is this? Devon Franklin. It's bananas. And so when I feel a little blue, if I need a little boost, I tune in to that. I see King B is in the room. Thank you. Grand rising to you, brother. I'm glad that you're here to join me on the platform. I have to say, this music videos definitely contributed to moving hip hop into, I want to say, the living rooms of everywhere. And y'all remember Yo MTV Raps? Y'all remember that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was a vibe. Absolutely. Couldn't wait till it came on. It's like, oh, the next week's going to come on. They're going to have this person interviewed and all those things. Oh, yeah. It was a vibe. Loved it.
Yeah. And then, of course, I liked how, I think Don Cornelius, I don't know if you all remember with Soul Train, it took him a minute to get with hip hop being on his platform. Can you all name the very first hip hop artist he had on his platform?
Gosh, wasn't it the hip hop, the hippity hip hop? Really, that was the first one because he didn't like it. So I figured
he didn't like it at all. One. I thought somebody knew that. I think. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna see if I can find it. But I wanted to welcome King B to the stage. Thank you so very much for coming through and for support. He is a very talented filmmaker based here in the Midwest alongside, and we've known each other for a while on and off the platform, but I definitely have come to his rooms. He used to do these music battle rooms, and I was thinking, man, how is he playing the music and it sounds so good? Well, brother, I learned, and you've definitely been an inspiration. King, say hello to the people.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, it takes a little minute to figure out the dynamics of doing it, but, you know, hey, you got it. That's what's up.
Thank you. And some of the things that he has going on, it's a lot. He has a couple of films that are streaming on Tubi, as well as getting ready to gear up for, I believe, a podcast platform where he has someone that's going to be hosting. I don't want to butcher that, King, but what do you have coming up?
Yeah, that was a little slicey right there, but it's all good.
I figured it was.
We have now 4. Father's Day made the 4th one. Rooster sequel just dropped. 4 movies on Tubi. And we have a Roku channel, King BTV, which is available on the Tonic TV network on Roku. And very soon will be more than just Roku. In the next maybe month or 2, will be some of everywhere. So we have a complete channel. It's the only place you can find all 5 of my movies. And we have a new talk show, Live, that's just dropped. And we have 2 more TV shows. One from a young lady from New York and another one, Brandy Martin from Chicago. So, and Jennifer Maharaj from New York. So, yeah, we're doing a couple of things. Yes,
of course. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so very much, Daniel, for that. I totally forgot. Video Music Box. That was on the East Coast. Was that in Columbia? Was that in Columbus, DJ Krate? Was that in Columbus?
No, Music Box was New York, Jersey, might have made it down to Philly, but during those years, that was an East Coast thing, tri-state, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so it was just there. So Daniel was on the East Coast back in the day with that. So I definitely remember that as well. And so, King, I wanted to lastly just ask you if you had a hip-hop track that literally would take you into a positive place, or it moved you to like, this is my jam. You would hear it either at a cookout or on the dance floor. When you hear that one song, it does something to you. What is that one song for you, King?
There's a few of them, but what just popped in my head, I suppose, or something I think about is I Get Around, Tupac. Yeah. That was my life at the time, you know what I'm saying? That was my life that resonated at that time. So yeah.
Yeah. Of a lot of the MCs, when they would do this comparison between Biggie and Tupac, and I'd have to watch this when I lived in New York, Krate. I couldn't say nothing bad about Jay-Z. I couldn't say nothing bad about Biggie. I couldn't say nothing bad about, well, I like Nas. I didn't want to say nothing bad about him, but if I'd say, depending on where I am, if I'm going to compare these two MCs, Tupac and Biggie, I'm going to go with Tupac. I felt like his rap there was more consciousness happening early in his career. It got more in the party. He did some party stuff too, like what I Get Around. I like that song too, and that was really good for radio because I don't think he did very few cursing and stuff in there. But Krate, and as we wrap up, if there's that one artist that's current, that's in hip hop, that's someone that you look out for, who would that be?
So without playing semantics, I guess current for me, Nas is still dropping great music. Kendrick is still doing stuff. There's a lot of different artists that they just drop good music. But my opinion is anytime Andre 3000 lays something down, it'll be dope. Whether it's the stuff he did with Anderson .Paak, the new track he's got out with Killer Mike, that's just amazing, that I'm still, trying to decipher and digest. But I think Andre 3000 right now is kind of, even though he doesn't drop as consistently as other artists, I think he's at a point where like he can and will never miss again throughout his career. He's just kind of elevated his art and the art of MCing to a space that I think very few will ever attain when you kind of just look at like from a certain perspective of mastery.
Yeah, that's a great choice. That's a great choice. Wow. Next time on Interludes, we're celebrating Interlude's 3rd year anniversary. Join us for a special tribute and additional clips from some of our favorite artists and favorite episodes. Next time on Interludes. Have you seen it? It's entertainment reviews, fabulous interviews, and sports you can use. Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays. Join us every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, live in the chat.
Interludes. Original concept by Valerie Johnson. Written by Michael Womble. Produced by Michael Womble and Valerie Johnson. Original intro and outro music produced by Kendall Nesbitt. Interludes, a Peer Lighthouse production. This episode is brought to you by...
Need help with wills, trust, or protecting your LLC? Join Legal Shield today. For more information regarding legal protection or to join our worldwide sales team, text the word LEGAL to 347-652-0243. Become a future sponsor or advertiser on our podcasting platform by visiting our website today.
To subscribe to our YouTube channel or join Interludes Facebook group, visit the website linktree/peerlightmedia. That's linktr.ee/peerlightmedia.